following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
As 2009 began, Paul the Punisher Williams was arguably boxing's most avoided fighter.
He's 6'1". He never stops throwing punches. He has incredible stamina. Tough for anyone to fight.
After challenging the fistic landscape from 147 up to 160 pounds, Williams faced off with Winky Wright last April.
Williams momentarily staggered Winky with a big left hand.
That is a star-making performance by Paul Williams.
That dominant win led to a career-defining showdown with Kelly Pavlik, but injuries to Pavlik canceled the fight. Instead, Williams now faces 154-pound titleist Sergio Martinez. Unbeaten for nearly 10 years, Martinez looks to shine in this unexpected matchup.
United States, get a look at the best American heavyweight prospect. It's Chris Arreola.
Chris Arreola began his year unbeaten with a go-for-broke style and raw power that excited American boxing fans.
Big win for Cristobal Arreola.
Arreola's victories earned him a shot at Vitaly Klitschko's heavyweight title in September.
Blood coming now from the nostrils of Chris Arreola. Can't stop the right hand. He has been technically outcrafted in the fight.
Beaten but unbowed, Arreola enters the ring tonight, poised to begin another run at heavyweight glory in the year to come. First up, it's Chris Arreola against Brian Minto, followed by Paul Williams against Sergio Martinez. Next.
World Championship Boxing is back, live from the ballroom here in Atlantic City's Boardwalk Hall. Tonight, we'll begin with heavyweights, as comebacking Chris Arreola is set for his return to the ring against Brian Minto. Then in our main event, the much-avoided Paul Williams is back, taking on Sergio Martinez, a title holder at 154 pounds, who is fighting for only the second time in his career at the middleweight level. And hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this HBO World Championship Boxing doubleheader, the last World Championship Boxing date of the year, and a showcase for two of the most interesting stories in the sport, Chris Arreola and Paul Williams. Later on the main event, Williams facing probably the most difficult opponent of his career in amazingly fast Sergio Martinez. But before that, a look at Chris Arreola in the heavyweight division, just 70 days removed from his shellacking at the hands of Vitaly Klitschko. And now let's turn to HBO boxing analyst Max Kellerman. And Max, give us a look at the heavyweight division as it now stands.
Sure, there's a situation at heavyweight now that I think boxing should embrace. The story that two brothers control the division. They are together the heavyweight champion, Vladimir and Vitaly, because if you want to be considered the champion of the world at heavyweight, you just need to beat those two guys. You don't need to beat Hay, who's certainly an exciting fighter, but merely a belt holder. And here are some of the other contenders in the division. Chris Arreola, as you mentioned, the best of the American contenders, although Kevin Johnson has shown an increased repertoire other than just his excellent jab in recent fights. Eddie Chambers is really too small for the division, but has lots of skills. Povetkin is the reigning super heavyweight Olympic gold medalist and undefeated at heavyweight. Tomas Adamek, the cruiserweight champ, moved up, beat the hell out of Andrew Galata. And Boistov is, you know, he's a good, although undersized heavyweight boxer puncher.
By the way, two of the Americans on that top row, Kevin Johnson and Eddie Chambers, have separate dates against the Klitschkos. Johnson fighting Vitaly, and Eddie Chambers scheduled to fight Vladimir in the first few months of 2010. Meanwhile, you might have thought, after the shellacking that he took from Vitaly on September 26, that Arreola would have been away a little bit longer than 70 days. But he wanted to come back in a hurry, apparently to boost his confidence. Let's take a look back at what happened when Arreola went in against Vitaly Klitschko. There had been a lot of talk about how the hyper-aggressive Chris Arreola would go inside and try to test Klitschko up close. It wasn't to be. as Arreola had no creative approach to getting inside, simply tried to bull rush the much larger man, and Klitschko's height and reach advantages allowed him to simply stop Arreola with left jabs or right crosses every time Arreola tried to storm forward. The result was an increasingly one-sided fight, which after 10 rounds was finally stopped by California referee John Shorley, a TKO victory for Vitali, and a hard lesson for Chris Arreola on the difficulties of mounting the summit in the heavyweight division against a guy like Klitschko, who conditions himself so well over the 365-day course of the year. So Arreola says he'll be better tonight. Let's look at how he prepared. Vitali Klitschko is throwing jabs, right hands, and Arreola is having trouble finding the distance from which to get started.
I hate losing. Hate it.
Can't stop the right hand.
How long can he go on taking this kind of punishment?
I got my ass kicked. Plain and simple.
Blood coming now from the nostrils of Chris Arreola.
I've never been beat like that. Ever in my life.
I just want to say I'm sorry to everybody, man. I really wanted to be a champion today, man. And I worked my ass off. Fuck. This ain't the last you've seen of me. Fuck that, I'm coming back.
I was emotional after the fight because, you know, you're that close to your goal that you've had your whole life, to be a champion. You're there. You could see it, you could feel the title, and it hurts to fall so short, you know.
Chris Arreola's first professional defeat at the hands of heavyweight titleist Vitali Klitschko raised no questions about Arreola's heart, but did cast doubt on his commitment to boxing outside the ring.
I think for a long time, Chris has been winning in spite of himself. I think he has the physical tools to become something special. What's missing is that dedication, that desire to make boxing a full-time commitment. And I think the jury is still out as to whether or not he can do that.
As far as having to work and push him sometimes, man, sometimes he could be a complete asshole. Even at times for the Vitali Klitschko fight, there were still times we had to like kind of fight and push and almost a tug of war between him and I.
I have taken training seriously. You know, I do all I can and do my best to listen to Henry. Of course, there's times that, you know, we bump heads, but, you know, we're in there and we're working our butts off.
When Arreola enters the ring tonight, it will have been only 10 weeks since his loss to Klitschko. Not much time off to recover from defeat.
This actually was a blessing in disguise because it didn't feel like we were starting from scratch. You know, it felt like we were just kind of took a little break and we're back at it again. He's been pretty receptive.
I love fighting. I'm a fighter. That's what I do. It's time for me to get back in the saddle and fight.
Alongside the goal of erasing the memory of the Klitschko defeat, there's a more practical reason to get Arreola back into the ring as soon as possible.
I didn't gain those 40 pounds that I would have if I had another month, you know. Right now, we started camp at 270. The last camp, when I fought Vitali, we started at almost like a 295, 290 something.
I think Arreola's handlers know that the longer they wait, the more possibility it is for Chris to fall back into bad habits.
Vitali Klitschko just showed, you know, how much work I got to do in order for me to be there.
Good body work, good.
You know, I'm just trying to work my butt off a lot more. Put more intensity into sparring. I just gotta have to fight and claw my way back up there again.
It's been only 70 days since the Klitschko fight, but long enough for Team Arreola to learn from an old sports adage. You learn more from a loss than a victory.
I told him, just remember the way you felt that night. The way to not let it happen again is do everything you can to prevent it. Do everything you can to prevent losing. No cutting corners.
This loss with Vitali wasn't only a speed bump, but it was also a motivation. He gave me a little pat in the ass, and here you go. Now you know what you gotta do. So now I know what I gotta do, and it's time to do it.
So he went right back into the gym, and he's in better shape tonight, right? Nope. He weighs 12 pounds more than he did when he fought Klitschko on September 26. And frankly, a Chris Arreola who might have a chance in the heavyweight division is more likely to be the guy who fought Chaz Witherspoon early in 2009 at 239. Emmanuel, what do we make of Chris Arreola at this point?
Well, I tell you what, weight is probably reflective of where he is, not only in terms of his training attitude, but also mentally. The fact that this man is weighing more than he weighed when he had his greatest fight, which was Vitaly Klitschko. I mean, there's no excuse for that. And, you know, I'm listening to interviews of his. It's all about bad habits, you know, the trainer having to force him to go to the gym. I worked with 6 heavyweight champions, and the problem I had with most of them, we had arguments, was about me trying to force them from training too much. You look at all of the top fighters today, whether it's Pacquiao, Mayweather, Shane Mosley, Bernard Hopkins, the one thing that they all have in common, they are legends for their preparation and their training and their dedication to the sport. If Chris Arreola didn't learn from that last fight and that beating that he received from Vitaly Klitschko, I don't think he's ever going to change too much.
Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, both Klitschkos, gym rats, people who can't stay out of the gym. That is not yet what Chris Arreola is. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape now for Arreola and Brian Minto as he gets ready for this assignment. And you can see the 6-year age advantage for Arreola, the 4.5-inch height advantage for Arreola, the 3.5-inch arm length advantage measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, and the 47-pound difference in weight, or maybe it's a 45-pound difference in weight. The bottom line is this gives you an idea as to how the opponent for tonight was chosen. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Chris Arreola Brian Minto fight is scheduled for 10 rounds, non-title, using the unified rules that you see on your screen. Jim, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Jim.
Brian Minto from Butler, Pennsylvania, is a worker bee. His big win was 2 years ago in Germany over Axel Schultz in a fight that Schultz clearly was not mentally ready for. You got to be mentally ready to fight Minto because he won't back down, he's active, and he will try to fight you at some point.
Well, I tell you, tonight, this is what should be a perfect opponent for Arreola. You know, it's a guy that's not really a big threat size-wise, experience-wise, and he's not physically a big man. But nevertheless, it still could be a competitive fight simply because of Arreola's lack of preparation, I think, physically and mentally. But normally this would be like a blowout. It wouldn't even be approved in most cases as a value.
At 5'10", it's not as though he was selected to make people forget about the Klitschko fight. He's a 5'10" opponent, not a 6'7" champion. This is simply a get him back in the ring as soon as possible kind of fight, as you guys mentioned, for Arreola.
And Arreola tonight fighting 3,000 miles away from Los Angeles after having faced the pressure of fighting before his home crowd and people who had grown up with him in Los Angeles, and perhaps that was the reason for the emotional breakdown in the ring afterward. That kind of spirit could help him as a fighter if it drove him to really work hard in the gym.
Yeah, it could, but evidently it hasn't. I mean, there's no way he's coming in. You know, before the fight with Vitaly, he came in with this rubber outfit weight on 270 as a joke, and he took it off, and naturally he was about 20 pounds lighter. For the night's fight, he's coming in weighing that, and this is real flesh. I mean, he's got to have a better dedication. As you said, Jim, after his last fight when he fought Vitaly, if you want to compete with the Klitschkos and the top guys, you American heavyweights got to start becoming boxers 365 days of the year. I think a lot of heavyweights may have heard it, except for the one that should have heard it the most.
And Jim, you mentioned 239 for the Witherspoon fight. He could have been in significantly better shape for that fight. I mean, 225 is probably about right for Chris Arreola, but this is who he is.
Yep, I don't think we'll ever see 225. Let's go to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. now for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Boardwalk Hall here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. As we have a big night of action in store for you, it is brought to you by Goose & Tudor Promotions, made possible by Tecate, Caesars Atlantic City, and Azad Watches. At this time, we present the first of our special attractions, introducing our 3 judges scoring from ringside. From New Jersey, Pierre Benoist. Also from New Jersey, Lynn Carter. And from New York, Julie Letterman. Introducing our 3rd man of the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, Ed Cotton. All right, fans, here we go. Fireworks in the heavyweight division in a special attraction scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with black trim, fighting out of Butler, Pennsylvania. He weighed in at a ready 218 pounds. His record stands at 34 wins, 2 losses, with 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former football standout and 2-time title holder, introducing Brian the Beast Minto. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner in this 10-round attraction, wearing blue trunks, fighting out of and representing Riverside, California. He weighed in at 263 pounds with a record of 27 wins, 1 defeat. He has 24 big wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former world title challenger, currently ranked the WBC #4 heavyweight contender, introducing Chris the Nightmare Arreola. Once again, a referee in charge, Ed Cotton, now to give instructions.
All right, boxers, you both received our instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. All right, I expect a good, clean fight. Let's touch gloves. Let's go.
More than punching power or his personality out of the ring, the reason Chris Arreola connects with boxing fans is he fights with passion. In a division where we often see a clinical kind of style of fighting nowadays, Arreola fights with real passion.
And also, Max, he does have a good punch. You know, it's something what you look for with heavyweights. You need power, you know. Just to see guys just throwing and trying to win a 10-round decision is not going to create excitement in the heavyweight division.
I expected 263 to look a little bit more jiggly than this. Maybe he is adding some muscle.
Well, you know, he was one of our top amateur fighters. In fact, he was, I think, National Golden Glove champion at 175. But, you know, if he would do what he should live up to do, he would be great for boxing, particularly heavyweight division when we're looking so much for a heavyweight in America.
And you make a great point. Having fought as an amateur at 175, and Max points out he fights with unusual passion, or what we see as unusual passion for present-day heavyweights. Well, I think he still has the mentality of a 175-pound fighter.
Yeah, he's fighting, he's boxing tonight, which is very good. I've noticed he's jabbing, he's patient, and he's becoming the boxer compared to when he fought. Naturally, Vitali had to be more aggressive, but he's been more patient tonight. As an amateur, he was really known for his boxing ability, believe it or not.
And he knocks Minto for a 2-step stroll with his right hand over the top.
Step back. Let him go. Step back.
And already,
Step back.
2 of Chris's punches have moved Minto around the ring. So the power differential is visible from the get-go.
Yeah, another advantage that Arreola enjoys against many heavyweights, including Minto, is because of the amateur background. Emmanuel, you mentioned, he has muscle memory. You know, when these other heavyweights, even if they're more athletic than him, when they get in exchanges, Chris has been doing it for so many years that the exchange tends to favor him.
Well, he's boxing a very good fight at this point right now. Patient and moving very light on his feet, keeping good balance. And he's actually at this stage not so much just because of the physical size, he's actually beating Minto because of his skills. Not that Minto is a super skillful fighter, but he's jabbing, keeping his balance, punches are short and accurate.
For his part, Minto's plan, as you might suspect, is to try to stay low and stay wide. Be anywhere other than right in front of Arreola, where Arreola can land his power shots and his jab against it. So far in the first round, it hasn't worked out well for Minto, as Arreola, putting punches together well, has been able to tag him.
It's fun playing Klitschko. It's fun being the Klitschko in there.
Come on. By far the larger man.
With an educated jab.
Now you may think, okay, 47-pound weight differential, closed case. David Hay recently overcame a 103-pound weight differential to beat Nikolai Valuev.
But he utilized speed, and that was the difference. Where right now, Minto, shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Hay. Hay is like real athletic and stuff, Jim.
Yeah, I know.
Fast, hits hard.
Yeah. It's almost unfair.
Hey, look. Deep breath. Deep breath. Keep working with that jab, okay? Want you moving your head, though, side to side, all right? Get back to using that jab. Look, he's slipping the right hand, so I want you working with the jab. Look for something underneath. Uppercut, hook.
You too, right off the lateral movement, okay? Start using more feints. Okay? And when you're inside, don't take your head over to the right too much. Start putting it in his chest and using your head on the inside.
Here we see Arreola land a right hand. It's very much similar to the photographs that we saw when he was fighting with Vitaly Klitschko and utilizing his size by moving back.
CompuBox numbers in round one.
You see Minto land a beautiful straight right hand.
That's all right. Excuse me, Emmanuel. CompuBox numbers in round one. Arreola 17 out of 44, 9 of 19 power shots. Minto 13 out of 35. Harold Letterman gives the first round to Chris.
Well, I would say this much. Both guys are making a good performance for themselves tonight. Minto's boxing, fighting very intelligent. Both guys are fighting much more intelligent than I think we expected. Boxing a lot more, placing the punches. It hasn't turned out to be the brawl.
Minto is also, I was joking about how athletic Hay was. Minto's also fairly athletic, but is badly outsized in this fight.
Well, and not just from that, also the experience, the great amateur background that Arreola had also.
Minto's a former football player, as you might suspect for somebody from that size from Western Pennsylvania. And in case you wondered where you've seen or heard his trainer, Tom Yankello, before, if you followed the career of Paul Spadafora, lightweight from Pittsburgh back in the 90s and the early part of this century, Yankello was the trainer who groomed Spadafora.
Yankello, a good defensive coach.
He's probably been the standout coach for amateur professionals in this Pittsburgh area, I'd say, for about the last 10, 12 years. Did a great job with some of the good amateur fighters coming out of here, too.
Hard left hook inside by Arreola. Minto took that one pretty well. It's as though Minto was jarred in the first round by Areola's power, but has begun to settle in a little bit now that he's tasted it.
Both guys are throwing very crisp punches, and you can see Arreola's trying to use that counter left hook when Minto comes in to catch with the tail. There it is again.
Hard right hand.
His left hook has been the most dominant punch in the fight, particularly when Minto's coming forward, throwing a punch.
That time, Minto was able to counter the right inside of the left hook of Arreola.
You notice the first round, Arreola was throwing basically right hands, a lot of 1-2s, 1-2s, which Minto was going down and dropping below, and he couldn't land solid. So this round, he's changed up his attack. He's jabbing, and he put a left hooks in his arsenal, which he didn't use at all the first round.
Good right hand inside by Minto. Arreola lands a right as Minto moves away.
And you see why Arreola landed that counter, because he throws in combination. Not a lot of heavyweights throw in combination, and again, I think that goes back, Emmanuel, to his amateur background at light heavy.
Yes, but he was a very good boxer. At this stage right now, Minto's fighting a very good fight, too. It's just the physical size and seeming the experience against better opponents is beginning to show now as the fight moves on.
Minto's brave as all get out, though, continuing to step up inside against Areola's shots and look to counter. And now there's blood over the right eye of Brian Minto. Probably from one of those left hooks. Good rounds.
Bad swallowed under the left eye of Minto.
Oh, he caught a big right. Both eyes are troubled for Minto now.
Mike went down. Hold the ice. Hold the ice.
December 8th, don't miss the next installment of Joe Buck Live. Among the guests, Pedro Martinez, Brian Urlacher, Michael Strahan, and Floyd Mayweather. January 26th kicks off another run of the Emmy Award-winning series 24/7. This time we'll leave the boxing behind and take you inside the lives of NASCAR superstar Jimmy Johnson and his teammates as they prepare for the Daytona 500.
Give me more of this like this. Look, little feints like this, okay? Brian, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look here. Your hands are coming down.
I'm at the end of that round a little bit, right? Keep working off the jab, with combinations, right? I just don't want you standing in front of him.
CombiBox numbers on power shots in round 2. Minto, 13 to 26. Go. Arreola, 15 to 34. Arreola's shots are bigger because he's bigger. Minto's cut man is Eli Babbage. Don't know him, haven't seen him, but he appeared to do all the right things between rounds.
Yes, he's got dealing with 2 issues, and both of them come up at the same time in the same round. A cut in addition to really enormous swelling under the left eye.
Yep, so he worked the in-swell under the left eye. Didn't seem to gain much purchase from that.
It did seem he was pushing away from the center of the eye towards the outer eye with the end swell, and generally you hear guys talk about how you just want to apply steady pressure with the end swell. Although it does bring temporary relief when you do the end swell that way, apparently.
Normally when you're using end swell, you try to take the swell and push it away from the center, from the eye. But you know, he didn't have much time to do that anyway.
They've said in recent years that then the swelling gets worse later on.
Hard right hand over the top by Arreola. Minto jumping inside to fire a left hook. But Minto's taking some heavy shelling now here in the 3rd round. And the question will rise as to how long he can last. So he's stepping up and getting aggressive.
Both guys are landing a lot of clean punches, and the punches are crisp punches too. This is, even though he's fought and had some good wins, I think this is Minto's best performance in his career tonight, thus far.
Good heavyweight fight. Brian Minto putting up a fight against Chris Arreola. There's a little blood inside the bridge of Arreola's nose on the left side, just next to his eye, as though there's a nick in there.
One of the reasons Minto was selected as an opponent is because he does have an exciting style. He is a tough guy. He'll go rounds if at all he can.
Let him go,
and he'll be throwing punches the whole time, as you see him doing here.
And I'm quite sure he brought some people here too. This is his home area, don't forget. This whole, you know, New Jersey and Pennsylvania area, a lot of people are here to support him.
That's pretty tough right hand, punching downhill from Chris Arreola.
Arreola working his jab a lot in this round. Probably figuring that he's softening Minto up for the kill.
I think he's surprised the fact that Minto's went this long and has taken so many good punches from him too.
There's a jab that almost buckled Minto's leg.
Minto has almost buckled on 5 or 6 different shots, including once on a body shot. But he's hanging in and firing back.
Time!
And as they work on Brian Minto between rounds, we will take a look into the dressing room of Paul Williams. The tall southpaw who is regarded as one of the most avoided fighters in boxing, if not the most avoided. Paul Williams claims he can still make 147 easily and wants to fight against top welterweights like Miguel Cotto and Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather for that matter, but he's a head taller than all of them, which leaves most of us expecting that he'll probably wind up fighting more frequently at 154 and 160 than at welterweight, and maybe in fact never again.
You're letting distance be there and you're not jabbing it, okay?
Go!
Average jabs per round from CompuBox, 8 of 26 for Arreola, 5 of 22 for Minto. The numbers are relatively even, which shows you how hard Minto is working to stay in the fight. But the faces tell the story. Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim, 3 rounds to nothing, 30 to 27, Chris Arreola. You know, Jim, Brian Minto's trying like heck. I mean, he's in that backing that right hand to the body, but Chris Arreola is just too big, hitting him too hard. So when they stand there and trade, Arreola just does more damage. When you look at these guys at the end of the round and you say to yourself, who did more damage in that round? You have to go with Arreola in each of the 3 rounds. 3 to nothing, Arreola.
Well, I tell you what, Minto has given him all that he can take, and if he was a bigger guy, I think Arreola would be in serious trouble right now.
As is the case in so many.
Minto was bigger. Yeah,
as is the case in so many heavyweight fights nowadays. Really, it's two guys competing in two different divisions. It's not a fair fight at heavyweight. Although throughout heavyweight history, there have always been different sizes.
Perfect right hand, and Minto goes down on his knees. Big shot from Arreola.
7!
Well, Minto got brave and was trading with Arreola.
You ready to go?
That wasn't the fight plan. The idea was not to trade with Arreola. He's never been knocked out, but he's never been in a situation like this either. Look at the determination of Brian Minto.
Minto's such a tough guy.
Well, I know who's going to come out to winner with the crowd in this fight. It's Minto, regardless of what the final outcome is.
Well, Minto's doing himself proud.
And this is what he's known for.
All right, stop.
He grabs Arreola and holds on as he gets tagged with another right and fires away again.
Okay.
Minto almost with the first tackle of the night.
Come on, get up.
Instead, it is he who's going down.
Arreola's getting such leverage on that right hand, punching down.
Yeah, punching down. He's landing. His right hand is getting off.
Minto almost went down again.
He just walked through such a right hand.
Oh my gosh. How did Minto stand up from that?
Ref.
Eddie Cotton would be within his rights in stopping it now, but Brian Minto's going to get up again.
He's going to really have lost his equilibrium. Just spinning around like that. When you get up after spinning and turning on the floor, your equilibrium is
I do not believe he'll have any legs at this moment. Eddie stops the fight. Good stoppage. Arreola gets the knockout. What an effort by Brian Minto. And that face is grotesque.
And there's an example of a fighter being saved from himself, because there was no quit in Brian Minto.
Unbelievable. Well, Emmanuel, if you had your wish and there were a super heavyweight division and a heavyweight division, these guys wouldn't have been in the same division.
No, they wouldn't. You know, there shouldn't be a limit like in amateurs. You have the heavyweights and then you have the super heavyweights. It should be a limit of like 220, and that was where Minto would be, and he would be a serious threat. But, you know, when you're going up now, guys up to 300 pounds almost, and they have coordination. So, it used to be guys was big, over 6'4", he wasn't coordinated, but that's not the case today.
Let's take a look at some of the replays from the finish. Here's the first knockdown, Emmanuel.
Right here, you see the right hand, a tremendous right hand, especially coming from over top. That Minto never even saw the right hand because it was the right hand came over top of his glove.
And that sent Minto forward onto his hands and knees. From that point forward, it was a matter of whether Brian could survive the round. And he took some unbelievably hellacious shots. That's another look at the right-hand knockdown. Second knockdown.
You can see the right hand here. With just so much speed. And Arreola's experience is really propelling right now.
And you see Minto rolling and grappling with the canvas to try to get up. He did make it to his feet, but Eddie Cotton very wisely stopped the fight as Minto was totally out on his feet. Arreola closed the show, landing 34 of his last 46 power shots. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time. 2 minutes, 40 seconds in round number 4. Our referee in charge, Ed Cotton, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, Chris the Nightmare Arreola.
Stand up right now. Final CompuBox numbers. Arreola landing 35 more, throwing 36 more, and connecting at a higher percentage. Punching down at Minto. He had a clear view of Minto, and it was easy to land, particularly once he started working his left hook and his jab in rounds 2 and 3. Power shots, and we told you the percentage here for Arreola is going to be dramatically boosted by what happened in that last round. He winds up landing nearly 60% of his power shots, but look how open he was. Little Brian Minto at 5'10", with a 5.5-inch height disadvantage, landed 45 out of 97 power shots.
And I think a lot of it was because I think Arreola wasn't even expecting or respecting Minto that much, and that's why he got caught with some of those punches, because he wasn't expecting punches to come back.
Let's go to Max Kellerman with Chris Arreola.
Chris, you always seem to be the kind of guy who likes a good fight. How'd you like that fight?
It was a great fight, man. Gotta tip my hats off to Brian Minto, man. He's a tough motherfucker. You know, comes in here, came here to win, man. He came in here to knock my block off. A couple times he got me against the ropes, but I was aware enough to get out the way. And I was trying to pick my punches because I seen those wild right hands coming. A couple times he caught me with those.
Did he buzz you with them? Were you hurt at any time?
Nah, I hurt my hand on his head.
Hard head.
Yeah, extremely.
What kind of a message did you send to the division tonight?
You know what? I hope I sent a good message that I'm still a man to be reckoned with. That, you know, regardless of my previous loss, that, you know, I'm still a top 10 heavyweight in the world, if not top 5.
For all of the toughness that Brian showed tonight, no one's going to confuse him with Vitaly Klitschko.
No, of course not. Of course not. He ain't no Vitaly Klitschko, you know, but he's still tough. There's a tough guy in there regardless. But then again, who is compared to Vitaly Klitschko? Nobody.
Vladimir, maybe. So, Chris, this fight was about staying active. How active do you want to be?
I want to fight as soon as possible within the next 3 months. Once again, let's get back in the ring. But like I said before, you know, it's all up to Mr. Dan and Al Heyman.
Let me ask you this. We comment a lot about your weight in various fights. You'll talk about I'm going to be in better shape. Then the weight goes up for the next fight. Should we just leave you alone about this? Is this just who you're going to be?
You know, first of all, you know, I want to apologize to all the people out there that were on my back, you know, that support me and the ones that hate me. You know, I give them more reason to hate me. I come in here 263. But regardless, man, I came in here ready to fight. You know, you can't measure that. You can't measure the sparring you do or the ring work, the gym work. You know, you can't measure that. And my biggest problem is when it comes 9 o'clock at night, I get hungry, man. And, you know, Alberto's is open 24 hours a day, so I'm going over there all the time.
Congratulations on an exciting win, Chris. It's always exciting when you fight. Jim?
All right, thank you very much. It snowed earlier today in Atlantic City. It's clearing up now. Later on, Paul Williams against Sergio Martinez. They're fighting at the middleweight level, even though they are probably the 2 best 154-pound fighters in the world. Right now, a continuation of something we began last week. On last week's Boxing After Dark, Max Kellerman showed you what happened in the year 2009 to some of the outstanding prospects in the sport of boxing. Right now, Max continues with a look at what happened to the more familiar fighters.
Given the economic crisis that closed out 2008, fight fans were looking to get their money's worth, and as a result, boxing in 2009 often featured excellent, evenly matched bouts fought in front of passionate crowds at local venues. Upsets and epics, action and excitement ensued, the box office soared, and boxing closed the decade with a bang. First up, the fights of the year. Undefeated lightning bolt Andre Berto set off the year with a fierce contest of skill and will against world-class veteran contender Luis Collazo.
Oh, left hand staggers Berto. You got to dig like you've never dug. Left hand by Berto. Snaps back the head of Collazo, digs right back in.
Berto needed a big 12th round. He got it.
What a fight.
Happy New Year, boxing fans.
Juan Diaz went head-to-head with the lightweight champ Juan Manuel Marquez, and the two certainly brought Diaz's hometown fans out of their seats.
This crowd is on its feet already, and they may be on their feet all the way. This is going to be a hellacious war. Marquez trying to counter again. Diaz keeping the pressure on. A huge uppercut. Down goes Diaz. That will be that.
The best action fight of 2009 was Ireland's Bernard Dunn fighting in front of his hometown crowd against Ricardo Cordoba, an all-out slugfest with 6 knockdowns. The most surprising result of the year, Jorge Linares looked like a future pound-for-pound champ until the very first round against Juan Carlos Salgado. Former middleweight king Jermaine Taylor suffered not 1, but 2 devastating last-second knockout losses. The price of boxing immortality comes at the risk of the fighter's very mortality, an exceedingly steep price to pay. Alexis Arguello, Vernon Forrest, and Arturo Gatti survived the perils of the ring, thrived in the face of them, and were loved for it. They were all taken from us this year under tragic circumstances outside the squared circle. In January, the apparently indomitable welterweight champ Antonio Margarito took on one of the game's greats, Sugar Shane Mosley. What transpired in front of the biggest crowd in the history of LA's Staples Center will not soon be forgotten.
Mosley has Margarito in trouble on the rope. Staggers him with that right hand. And Margarito looks like a beaten man. And Shane Mosley has annihilated Antonio Margarito.
Margarito was caught before the fight trying to cheat, plaster in his wraps, and was suspended for a year at least. And perhaps most gratifying, he got his comeuppance in the ring, the most significant upset of 2009. And at 38, Vitaly Klitschko showed why he and his younger brother Vladimir formed the two-headed heavyweight champion of the world when he schooled a tough young brawler in Chris Arreola.
Vitaly Klitschko has dominated the fight.
Is he once in a generation? Once in a lifetime? Or is he just once? Manny Pacquiao did this year what no fighter before him had ever done. He became the first man in the history of boxing to claim lineal championships in 4 separate weight classes when he YouTubed junior welterweight champ Ricky Hatton in the knockout of the year.
There it is. Boom. Oh my gosh, what a straight left hand. What an amazing knockout shot. That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's incredible career.
After a bloody battle with the feared Joshua Clottey, Miguel Cotto emerged as a credible opponent for the Pac-Man. And the terror of divisions from flyweight to welter looked to add Cotto's strap to his collection.
Cotto backs into the corner. He's in big trouble now.
We thought Manny Pacquiao was great. He's better than we thought.
Pacquiao is, of course, the fighter of the year for '09, just like he was in '08. And then there was the return of the great Floyd Mayweather, the comeback of the year. After a self-imposed exile from the sport, Pretty Boy Floyd completely outboxed Juan Manuel Marquez, the same Marquez who had proven himself the virtual equal of Pacquiao in their 2 fights.
Mayweather so quick with the counters, so sharp, so accurate.
A truly brilliant performance
for a truly brilliant fighter.
21 months off, and he's better than ever.
The demand for a pound-for-pound showdown between Mayweather and Pacquiao is now reminiscent of the demand for Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard over 2 decades ago. The greatest thing about being a boxing fan is that the next super fight, the one you just gotta see, is always right around the corner. 2009 was good, but sometime in 2010, we should see the sport reach its apex with Mayweather and Pacquiao in an event of epic proportions and a fight that would define an era.
Back live at ringside now with the man in whose mouth YouTube became a verb. And by the way, there are quarters in which Pacquiao is now a verb, as in Alabama Pacquiao'd Florida today for the SEC championship. So let's take a look at the 160-pound weight class where Williams and Martinez will be fighting tonight, and I know there's more to it than that.
Well, there's not much going on at 160, really. Pavlik's the champ. Sturm is a belt holder. Paul Williams is considered by some the best in the division, though he's scarcely fought at middleweight. The view is that Pavlik really doesn't want him. So let's start looking at 154-pounders. These are the guys who could potentially move up and mean some money in the division. Sergio Martinez tonight has moved up from junior middleweight. Other than Paul Williams, he's the best junior middleweight in the world. Zurich is undefeated and has had a pretty lengthy belt title reign at 154 pounds. Kermit Cintron beat Alfredo Angulo on points, and his only losses were at welterweight to an Antonio Margarito, and there's a cloud of suspicion over all those Margarito fights now because he was later caught with the hand wraps. And of course, also to Sergio Martinez, who really deserved the win, at least 2 wins against Cintron when they fought. The interesting thing to me about Paul Williams, I've never quite seen this in my lifetime watching the fights, a fighter so avoided. He was supposed to fight the middleweight champ and best guy in the division, Kelly Pavlik, tonight. Pavlik pulls out. So instead, he's fighting the best junior middleweight in the world, other than Paul Williams himself, Sergio Martinez. Paul Williams would like to fight the best 147-pounders in the world, but none of them will take a fight with him seriously. They won't even entertain the idea. It's as though Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard were asked about a fight with Tommy Hearns. They said, too big. All the other fights, the one guy who would fight Paul Williams at welterweight was Antonio Margarito at a point where he looked indestructible. Paul Williams beat him. No one wants to fight this guy, Jim, so the only fights he can get are against other fighters who no one wants to fight. Margarito, Winky Wright, Sergio Martinez.
Paul 6'2", has an 82-inch wingspan, could make 147 pounds. He says he still can. Seems to have an iron chin. Why doesn't everybody want to fight him, right? So this thing of being the most avoided fighter in boxing, Emmanuel, suggests that most people don't think they can beat him. Sergio Martinez says, oh, heck yes, I can beat him, and has a plan to do so. Can he?
Well, yeah, I think he has a good chance of winning that, simply because of the fact that Sergio Martinez has hand speed. He also can move in and out with his feet, and he would place his punches good. He has speed. See, the biggest problem most guys get when they fight with Paul Williams is trying to out-punch him, punch. I don't think nobody can do that. He's too physically big, and he throws too many punches from all kind of angles, and he's left-handed. But I think the style of Sergio Martinez can be the most difficult for Paul Williams because he's going to place punches to get points and move in and out and take advantage of maybe the over-eagerness of Paul Williams. But overall, I think Paul Williams' size, his volume of punches, the fact that he's going to put so much pressure, being a tall guy putting pressure on a short guy, is going to eventually break Martinez down. But Martinez has a better chance than any 154-pounder, I believe, in the world.
Yeah, there would seem to be 2 possibilities here. It could be a really terrific fight, or Williams will physically overwhelm Martinez, just as he physically overwhelms most of his opponents. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape and see why. Once again, we've already given you the numbers, but there it is. 6-year age advantage for Williams. 6'1½". He looks taller than that to us, but it's a 3.5-inch height advantage on paper. Arm length advantage of 1.5 inches measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in under the 160-pound limit, as you might have expected. They both weigh unofficially 166 pounds tonight. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Paul Williams-Sergio Martinez fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3-knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight in case it is caused by an accidental headbutt. We go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Sergio Martinez is a very unusual story. He was a bicycle racer and a soccer player who wandered into a boxing gym at 19. By age 21, he decided boxing was the best sport for him. His ability to learn technical skill after taking up the sport at such a late age is surprising, and his endurance base from bicycle racing and soccer is perfect for the sport, Emmanuel.
I think it gives him a great advantage because the one thing that Paul Williams does, he wears guys down. But with the background that he has, meaning Martinez from his his other sports, bicycling and soccer and stuff, means that he will be there at the end. And that's something he has to have to fight with Paul Williams. Because Paul Williams' pace and tempo is one of his biggest advantages.
Only 1 loss in 47 fights. That was many years ago to Antonio Margarito. The draw with Cintron, you were there, Max. What happened?
He won by knockout. The ref called it a knockout. Then Cintron's corner convinced the referee to overturn the decision. You'll see the knockout coming out. Ref counted to 10. He was out. Fight was over. So that's the knockout. Then to protest, Cintron's corner got into the ring. Jim, that's a DQ. Then Martinez won the fight, won more rounds. Should have also won on points. He beat him 3 times, Martinez did, and walked away with a draw.
Thank you, referee Frank Santori. So most ringsiders understand that Martinez's real record should be 45 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Pretty doggone good. That's the low blow, which caused Santori to, holding, which caused the referee to issue a penalty. You know, as for him, Martinez wasn't angry about the loss. He took it philosophically and said, hey, I was fighting in Florida. It was foreign territory to me. I knew anything was possible. I thought I won the fight, but on to what comes next. And what comes next is Paul Williams. And there he is. Because of his height, Emmanuel, he was compared early on to Tommy Hearns, but it's really a totally different fighting style.
Well, Tommy Hearns is a guy who places punches, much more devastating puncher, body and head. But Paul Williams wins his on a volume of punches. His knockout record is based on the fact that he's worn out opponents, not so much from punching power. With Tommy Hearns, they've shown in the fights with Duran, Pino Cuevas, and many other fights, that he could be a devastating one-punch fighter with top-notch fighters.
If you follow the sport, you know that Williams was originally scheduled to fight Kelly Pavlik on October 3. When the staph infection on Kelly Pavlik's left knuckle flared up, then the fight was moved to December 5. Eventually, Pavlik's people said, we can't fight on December 5 either, and at that point, the Williams camp moved on and set up this fight with Martinez.
And it's an interesting matchup with Pavlik, because the question would be, how well can he take a middleweight's punch, a real puncher? This is also a fascinating matchup, because how well can Paul Williams do against a super slick southpaw?
He had 1 month remaining to prepare for the fight when he had to undergo the dramatic switch from fighting a middleweight with a big punch to a 154-pound mover. Here we go. 2 southpaws in the ring. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Goosen Tudor Promotions in association with DeBella Entertainment, Samson Boxing, and HBO, made possible by Tecate, Azad Watches, and Caesars Atlantic City. Tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Commissioner Aaron M. Davis. Introducing our 3 judges as appointed, scoring this bout from ringside. From New Jersey, Pierre Benoist. Also from New Jersey, Lynn Carter. And from New York, Julie Lederman. Introducing our referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Randy Newman. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled in a middleweight special attraction. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Atlantic City, New Jersey, it's time for the main event of the evening. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks with white trim, hailing from Quilmes, Argentina, now fighting out of Oxnard, California. He weighed in at 159 pounds. He is unbeaten in 9.5 years with an overall record standing at 44 wins, 1 loss and 2 draws, with 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the World, introducing Sergio Maravilla Martinez. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple trunks with orange trim, fighting out of Augusta, Georgia, by way of Aiken, South Carolina. He weighed in at 157 pounds. Having avenged his only defeat, his outstanding record includes 37 wins, 1 loss, with 27 wins coming by way of knockout. Known as one of the world's most feared fighters, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 3-time world champion, introducing Paul the Punisher Williams. Williams. One referee in charge, Randy Newman, now to give instructions.
Sergio. Okay, gentlemen, you're both familiar with the rules of the state. We've gone over them thoroughly. I want you to remember two things. I want you to obey my commands, but number one, defend yourselves at all times. Now shake hands and come out of the bell.
Here are the two best junior middleweights in the world fighting each other at middleweight. And although Paul Williams is favored, his only loss was to Carlos Quintana. Sergio Martinez is a super Carlos Quintana.
Williams trainer George Peterson taking his own sweet time to put in the mouthpiece and vacate the ring, and now the bell sounds and they're ready to go. Interesting style contrast is reflected in CompuBox numbers. Williams likes to throw as many punches as possible, averages usually more than 100 per round. Martinez throws about 44, 45 punches per round. He likes to go in and out, use the ring, fight in flurries and skirmishes here and there. Williams wants sustained action. Which one will win that argument?
Well, at this stage here, Williams has created a lot of pressure. He's putting much more pressure, I think, on Martinez than Martinez ever experienced, especially from a tall fighter. It's very seldom you run across a tall fighter that fights that way. Normally, the tall guy is the guy that's leaning back and boxing, moving around.
Waiting on the opposition.
Yeah. But see,
Martinez stepped in with a good little counter right hand to the jaw.
And that's very smart. Martinez is because he cannot beat this guy punch to punch, but he's going to try to land clean, effective punches and hope that Paul gets over anxious and get out of position and leaves himself open when he's coming forward.
And down he goes on a left hand to the temple. And that's shocking, but it looked as though it was a combination of bad balance and the punch landing.
But the punch landed, he couldn't see it because the guy's tall. The right hands are coming from up at such a high distance. He's not used to that.
Well, we talked before the fight.
Oh, hard left hand by Martinez. Ripping Williams.
Martinez resembles Quintana. Paul Williams' only loss. Martinez's only loss was to Margarito, a tall welterweight who applied pressure and ran him out of the ring.
Now let me make a point because I screwed this up in the Cotto-Pacquiao fight, or Pacquiao-Cotto, I should say. Martinez is fighting to try to make it a 10-9 round. Not a 10-8 round in Williams' favor, but a 10-9 round if he can win the rest of the round himself. That was what the big right hand was all about.
He was trying to make it a 9-9 round with that left hand.
All right, you're tied. Break it up. Don't punch. Come on, let him go, Sergio.
The last thing Martinez needed in round one was to go down on a flash knockdown and give Williams an extra point. Every point is going to be precious.
Yeah, right now, Williams put a lot of pressure, and I'm still looking at that left hand of his. He's just barely missing Martinez. Martinez doesn't have really a good defense for that left hand. He hopes he's out of range. He's not rolling a punch or anything. He's just hoping he's out of range.
Don't punch, don't hit him in the back of the head. That's crap. Let's go.
Incidentally, Martinez says he's fighting this fight in memory of the late Vernon Forrest. Were they friends? No. He says he never met Forrest. But when he learned about Forrest's outreach to developmentally disabled adults and impoverished children, he developed a fondness for him, and he misses him and fights in his honor tonight. Hard right hand, and Williams goes down. And Martinez has evened the round.
9-9.
Brilliant.
Coming in, counter punch.
Williams landed one big shot in the round. Martinez landed two. Wow.
Well, just as I said before the show, the reason that Martinez has a chance because he's a good counterpuncher and he can move with his feet and hopefully get Paul just as it is over anxious and can catch him with a counterpunch as he's coming in with his over anxiousness.
He looked like Manny Pacquiao with that hook.
But just get back and be calm. Man up on your jab.
You know, I don't know how Paul Williams is going to deal with this.
Now what you got to do is throw that left.
Here we see the left hand and knock Martinez down. You can see a lot of was bad off balance. Legs was in a bad position.
Raising punch.
Now you see Paul coming in, and he's catching him at a perfectly timed punch, and that's a serious punch right there. There was nothing to do with balance on that.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Williams 15 of 65. Martinez only threw 24 punches, but landed 11 and returned the knockdown. Both fighters tasted the canvas in round one.
And that's a good score by Harold, by the way. Though Williams won more of the round, Martinez had him hurt on the canvas and deserves to win the round. I agree because of that.
All right, that's it. Bring it up.
Another good counter right. Williams is going to have to get more careful about overreaching with the left hand.
He's punching too far out of range. He's punching too far away.
He is opening himself up to these right hooks, and Martinez is having a festival right now.
He did not respect Sergio Martinez's punching power early.
Well, what he really needs to respect is Martinez's speed. Look at how fast Martinez can go in and out.
You're right, he's getting hit with right hooks he doesn't see coming.
I believe Martinez is the fastest 154-pounder I have ever seen.
Let him go, Paul, let him go.
Now, some disagree with me about that, but he shows blinding speed when he wants to.
Every era has its batch of slick southpaws. Martinez is the best of this era.
Straight left hand landed for Martinez.
Type of fighter.
I don't think Paul is fully recuperated. Even though he's fighting with a lot of aggression, he still seems to be a little bit wobbly coming in and looks very, very unsturdy on his legs.
He's missing every punch, and Martinez is landing his.
Martinez looks very strong, seems to be very much in control. And the way it's going, it looked like Martinez is headed towards possibly a knockout.
And Martinez is softening up Williams with body shots in this round. Very intelligent. For a guy who took up boxing at 19, Sergio Martinez knows how to fight.
At 34, that means 15 years in the game. It's plenty of time.
Now this is something Martinez will frequently do. Drop his hands and invite the opponent to come forward so that he can counter.
Paul already looks like he's fighting on heart and determination, and Sergio Martinez appears to still be fighting with a game plan at this moment.
He's working him over in this round.
He's taking advantage of Paul Williams being out of position when he comes in.
Yeah.
And Paul, you know, is just getting in with his punches. You can see him coming. He's throwing them too far back.
Suddenly it appears that for a super slick, fast counterpuncher, Williams has the wrong style. And that's exactly what Martinez told us yesterday. He said, I will use his aggression against him.
All right, let him go,
and he's doing a great job so far.
Hey, enough of the crap. Let's go.
So it'll be fascinating to see if Williams can make adjustments necessary to put himself back in control of the fight. Great job by Martinez there, holding him with one side and pounding him with the other. He won every second of that round.
Very nice, very nice. You had him dead. You had him dead. But don't be desperate. Keep working it. Keep working it. That right hook gets in all the time. You hurt him with that right hook. You hurt him a lot. Now breathe, breathe, breathe. As soon as you touch him, you hurt him. He's never been hit that way. He's never been hit by a guy who can hit well. Understand? Come on. And pick up that left. Bring your hands in. Let him come in. Bring your hands in and let him come in. Okay, son? Bring your hands and bring out the punch on the bottom. That's it. You got to throw that one.
CompuBox numbers in the second round. Williams 9 out of 60. Only 2 out of 28 jabs. He's missing his jab. Martinez 17 out of 50, 34%. He won the round.
Well, I tell you, Martinez's stamina and his background from bicycling and soccer is going to have to be a big factor for him tonight, because even though I think, you know, I have him, you know, slightly winning the fight, but Williams is still putting a lot of pressure on him.
Well, we saw Quintana beat Paul Williams in this southpaw style, but not as good as Sergio Martinez.
Oh, look at the counter-punching of Martinez.
But after he gets through, there's Paul Williams right back at him again.
Williams beat Quintana in a rematch in a first-round knockout, but Quintana's an up-down fighter. And sometimes a first-round knockout, although it's conclusive, doesn't give you a big body of evidence to see how one fighter does against a certain kind of style. Here, Williams is again being exposed by a slick southpaw.
Quick hook inside by Martinez. Missed that hook and complains that there was a headbutt. This is not the southpaw against conventional fighter problem. 2 southpaws tonight.
Well, I don't know if, Martinez is going to be able to take this pressure. If he doesn't knock out Williams, I think he's going to have a rough time. The way I'm looking at him, switching back the other way.
But he might not tire, Emmanuel.
That's what I'm saying.
He has amazing stamina.
Yeah, he's going to have it tonight.
Yes, because Williams is putting pressure on.
Yep, and those left hands that are just barely missing, once he slows down, they're going to start landing.
If he slows down.
Another big right hook by Martinez. Now Williams stuns him with a right hook. Martinez keeps coming.
Williams is a sitting duck for Martinez's right hook.
Over and over, Martinez tags him with the right. Williams is still falling short as Martinez moves away.
Yeah, but Williams is still putting a lot of pressure on him. I'm still looking right now at Martinez maybe landing the cleaner punches. But Williams, it seems like he's got his groove on there. He's got his rhythm going now.
Don't punch, don't punch. Let's go, let's go. Get off him.
Might have his rhythm, Emmanuel, but he's getting beaten like a drum. In this round, although I see what you mean, he's still taking a lot of clean shots to the head.
He's taking clean shots, but if he can keep taking those with that pressure of being a tall guy, you might see Martinez start to wilt.
Yeah, but how many points down can he go on the cards? And Williams' left eye shows some blood on the outside of the eye.
And
where he's getting hit with the right hook.
And as tough as Williams is, how many right hooks can he take?
Boom. Martinez land on the left. Gets in another right hook. Williams is still missing most of his punches, although getting closer. He's closing the distance, Emmanuel, as you said he would. Another round that I would have to give to Martinez. He landed many more shots.
I agree.
9 over 10. 9 over 10.
Yeah. Water.
Paul Williams.
Well, January 26th sees the return of 24/7. This time, instead of boxing, it's NASCAR, as we'll focus on 4-time Sprint Cup champion Jimmy Johnson and his teammates as they prepare for the season-opening Daytona 500. And World Championship Boxing returns January 30th. It's a highly anticipated welterweight unification bout with title holders Shane Mosley and Andre Berto meeting in Las Vegas.
But you can't make him fight by throwing a punch and dropping your hands. Every time you get ready to fight, he hits you upside your head. Well, okay, you don't need that. What you need to do is move your head and bring your hands high. You understand? Don't give him the fight.
CompuBox numbers on power shots in round 3. Williams 13 out of 43. Martinez 17 out of 37. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Don't punch. 3 rounds to nothing. 30-27, Sergio Martinez. You know, Jim, in round 1, it's very interesting. In the 10-point must system, the winner in a round has got to get 10 points. I mean, you could have an even round where, it would be 10-10, but somebody has to get 10 points. They each scored a knockdown. Martinez was a more solid knockdown. I gave him the round 10-9. Anyway, Martinez landing the harder, solid shots, 3-0, Martinez.
Hard right hook by Williams.
And there's what Emmanuel was talking about.
That's Williams' best punch since the first round.
The signature punch in the fight still has been the right hook of Martinez, but I'm just still looking at the intensity and the look in the eyes of Paul Williams, even though he's been outclassed. A lot of these fighters are just not used to that, especially foreign fighters. The pace and the tempo of the pressure is starting to wilt, is making him down.
He's still getting caught with an awful lot of punches coming in.
He's getting caught. I agree with that, but I just still look at if he doesn't get knocked out with that right hook, meaning Paul Williams.
That's enough.
It looks pretty good for him going down the stretch.
Let him go, let him go, let him go.
Well, he's 3 points behind on the Letterman scorecard. Maybe closer on some official cards.
I think that Harold's scorecard is pretty much right on the money, including the first round.
All right, that's it. Don't punch. Get up. Let's go, let him go. Let him go, Paul. Yeah, watch your head. Right, don't punch. Don't punch in the back. Hey, he stops, you stop. None of this.
Another right right hook inside by Martinez. And a left-hand shot by Martinez and a big left by Williams. Martinez holds on a little bit and bangs to the body too.
This is turning out to be a tremendous fight. Remember, we
Good
first
right
thought
hook by
about
Williams. Two more right hooks by Martinez. They are landing intensely.
It's two of the best, it's the two best fighters in the world at junior middleweight, fighting just a few pounds north of the division.
We thought it was going to be two counter punches maybe for the most part, but Paul Williams decided that's not going to be the strategy tonight. So he's been responsible for this excitement, even though he's losing. He's the one that's pushing the fight. Otherwise, it could have been a real technical fight.
Well, Paul Williams likes action fights, and if he wanted an action fight here, he couldn't counterpunch. He had the lead because he knew that Martinez would counterpunch.
Stop punching.
Paul Williams' head is up in all those exchanges is still right there for any counter punch, particular right hook.
And the damage is mounting around Williams' left eye. There's blood in the orbit. Hard left hand by Williams. Martinez grabs and holds.
I was figuring that's going to happen soon.
Grabs and holds on.
That hit Martinez right on the chin, and he held immediately.
Martinez is hurt. I could see that left hand from the first round was just barely missing.
And Paul is badly cut.
That's what I'm talking about. Man out. Man up on that jab, okay? You got to fight him.
No one is working on his eyes still.
You got me? Yeah, got to cut him. Give me a towel. You got to
17 seconds go by before they touch the eye.
You did good that round. But let 2 and 3 go. You trying to throw one jab and you trying to throw it from across the street. But that's not going to work. You got to throw the jab and you got to throw the hook. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying. You got to throw the jab and you got to throw the hook and you got to come back with the jab. You need more than one punches. You got to throw numbers, Paul. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you want to do this, you got to fight smart. You want to win this, you got to fight smart. And fighting smart is manning up on them punches.
Yeah, right there, here was a headbutt by Martinez that really aggravated the already bleeding cut eye.
A lot of the damage has been done by Martinez's right hooks. Williams landed a huge left hand to punctuate the last round. And the way Martinez is fighting, it looks like he's still hurt from that left hook.
And, you know, I don't know if he has that street toughness about him that Paul Williams has. And that's why even though Williams was losing, in my mind, I saw him winning because I'm looking at beyond not the round, but the overall fight.
Guys, two weaknesses in Paul Williams. One, he's susceptible to cuts. The other is he hasn't sat down on his punches and been a real good puncher throughout most of his career. Here at middleweight, you see him punching Emmanuel with real authority.
But I think it's just the fire in him. It's just, you know, the fight inside of a man is what really makes the winners. And then he has seemed to be much more fight and determination inside.
Williams landed a good right hook to the heart of Martinez in their last exchange. Martinez seems to have gotten his legs back from that big shot at the end of the 4th round. But the momentum of the fight is shifting. Williams is beginning to be the more threatening of the two. After Martinez had a brilliant first 3 rounds. Martinez seems to be trying to just get through this round, avoid damage, maybe catch his breath a little bit.
And Paul Williams has slowed down on Weetad too. He hasn't been fighting with intensity yet that you would think after having Martinez hurt. But that left hand is still just grazing him, just barely missing. And the more fatigue that sets in, you're going to see that left hand land more frequent. Of Paul Williams.
And now Martinez fires 3 more right hooks and clocks Williams with a left. And Williams fires back. And they're trading shots.
What a savage exchange in the middle of the ring.
Amazing. Well, the last thing Martinez wanted to do was trade shots with Williams, but he got through there.
Accurate, hard punches.
By both guys in that exchange.
Back and forth, a true exchange, as you say, Jim.
I'm here, let him go, don't punch, get out. Step back, 1 step back.
Now Martinez's left eye is beginning to swell a little bit too from Williams's right hooks. And his jab. More trading shots. Williams got the better of that exchange. And Martinez backs off.
Martinez getting hit there because he fights with his hands down.
don't think Martinez intended that, but it's not a bad thing to do.
No, it takes a lot of energy when you get down like that, trying to get yourself up.
Especially a guy almost 6'2" with thin legs.
You say we're almost 6 foot. That man is 6'2" all over. If there ever was anybody 6'2". That's.
Respira, respira.
Breathe, 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 Sergio. Breathe.
Respira.
Breathe.
Escucha, Sergio.
Listen, Sergio.
Estás trabajando bien.
You are working very well. Don't go in on the exchanges. Don't go to the exchanges. Don't stay there. Don't get heated up. When you catch him and he wants to exchange, move. Get away. Get out of there.
Here we see a tremendous exchange, which was typical of the fight right here. Both guys fighting with so much determination, getting hit with clean punches and coming right back right away before the opponent can get his momentum to going.
Rough night in Atlantic City for Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez as we go to the 6th of the scheduled 12. Wild first round in which both men were down. Martinez seemed in control in the second, third rounds, hammering Williams with right hooks. In the 4th round, Williams caught Martinez with a big left toward the end of the round. In the 5th round, they exchanged freely, but Williams seemed to be getting the better of it. And after all of my crowing about Martinez's stamina, I do believe Williams' pressure has taken something out of him, Emmanuel.
Nobody can put pressure like a tall fighter. A tall fighter putting pressure. You can't grab him and tie him up and pull him by the head the way you can with a shorter guy coming in, the way Ali used to do. It's the worst pressure in the world is a tall fighter that puts pressure on him.
They're banging heads again. You saw Martinez ducking away and grimacing. Williams missing the jab.
A lot of talent on display here, obviously, Jim, but also a lot of will. You mentioned them getting their hearts hooked, but neither guy got their heart took. And that's why we're getting these excellent exchanges, because when one guy gets hit, his inclination is to throw right back.
Williams still seems to be too open to Martinez's right, particularly the hook.
Williams is still wide open. I just think his determination is keeping him in the fight, making it close, but you know, it's still, his head is up.
Hard right hook by Williams. As Martinez has become more stationary, it becomes more of a grinding fight.
But you know what you said, Max, before, the two best junior middleweights in the world, and that's what they're fighting like tonight. I mean, even though Martinez is winning, but what a fight is there.
We're witnessing a special fight. And generally this, you know, you get the two best guys in a division going at it, special things happen.
Well, we're witnessing a special fight partially because they are two special athletes. Not all boxers and not all skilled boxers are great athletes. Both of these guys have amazing athletic quality, and that's showing up in the ring.
They do things that other guys can't.
All right, break, don't punch. Let him out, that's it. Work out, don't punch, just get out. Let's go, let him go.
That left hand of Williams didn't do that much effect because of the fact that Martinez was rolling away from the punch. It looked good.
In fact, Martinez's left right there was probably better.
Yes.
It's another right hook inside by Martinez. Doing a good job of slipping Williams' punches there. Good combination for Williams there. Pretty close round, but Williams' busier style and more punches are beginning to make their mark. December 8th, don't miss the next Joe Buck Live. Among the guests, Pedro Martinez, Brian Urlacher, Michael Strahan, and Floyd Mayweather. December 22, Real Sports returns with its annual year-end edition. Join Bryant Gumbel and all the correspondents as they discuss their most interesting and revealing stories from 2009.
Keep working with that lead hand. No, after half a bout, you know that he's going to slow down. You see that last minute, it was a bit slow, right? Got to finish off strong. Got to finish off strong. Move, and then when the last minute is up, go and attack.
No seconds.
Martinez's Spanish trainer is Juan Leon Diaz, and as you heard, he talks a blue streak. Compibach numbers in round 6. Paul Williams finally fought a Paul Williams round. He threw 90 punches by Compibach's count, landing 32. Martinez was 18 out of 49 in return. Harold, how you got it through 6?
Okay, Jim, 3 rounds apiece. 57, 57, I got it even. Sergio Martinez on my card won the first 3 rounds. Then Paul Williams tightened it up, started to come forward. He's the aggressor. You got to give him credit for effective aggressiveness, and he's dropping that left hand down on Martinez. And the thing is that Martinez now is fighting going back all the time. In other words, he doesn't move in and get, land that right over the top of the strong left hand like he did in the first 3 rounds. He's fighting moving backwards. Williams, evened it up in the last 3 rounds. 57, 57.
That's a good point, Harold, because Martinez's punches were doing damage in the first 3 rounds when he was going forward more resolutely to throw them. Throwing them as he backpedals, no power.
And part of that might be he's a little discouraged because as much as he dropped Paul Williams and had him badly hurt, there's Paul Williams firing right back.
Pure physicality beginning to make its mark for Williams.
Yeah, I think physically and mentally he's draining Martinez. I noticed Martinez when he went back at the end of the last round, I saw a look on his face of like, hey man, I've never been through this before. And I don't know if I can deal with it.
Well, Williams hadn't been through this before either.
No, not right. This is the roughest I think either one of them ever fought.
Right, don't punch, go hit him.
The only thing is I just myself feel there's a little more toughness mentally in Paul Williams.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Paul Williams' toughness plays into his ability to absorb a punch. As though he went down from the shot but didn't get stopped and hasn't gone down again because he's determined not to.
And he was seriously hurt too.
Good uppercut by Martinez, misses the second uppercut.
But Williams is making Martinez miss a lot of punches too now, which is amazing me. He's been tripping and twisting and turning.
Williams has improved dramatically since the second round when he seemed lost at sea. Gradually making adjustments as the fight goes on. Pretty soon, Martinez may have to make a decision whether to stay out there at the end of Williams' punches or simply go inside and try to stay inside of him.
Right now, he's having a real problem because even when he lands his pet shot, which is the right hook, Williams comes right back, and off the time, Williams lands his right hook at the same time.
At the beginning, Martinez was always able to get away. Not now.
What you doing still yet? You throwing one punch and you reaching back. You're not putting anything up to your head. You understand to block those shots. But listen, this is what you got to do. You got to go to this guy's body, what you're not doing. He's just as tired as you are. Matter of fact, he's more tired than you are. But what you got to do, you got to...
Come on, son, instead of throwing the lead hand, throw the left, And then keep faking him. Keep faking him. All right, son? There's the water. Don't stay on the inside. Don't stay on the inside. Keep moving. Keep moving. And lead it in the second hand.
So where would the toughness come from, which seems to be making a difference? Well, remember, Williams went into the ring as a 12-year-old. Ultimately, he backed away from boxing as a teenager, then came back to it when he was introduced to George Peterson, who has been his trainer and his confidant ever since. Martinez didn't take up boxing till he was 19, didn't get serious about it till he was 21. That's a difference in orientation, which may be the difference here.
Yeah, but that just, you're going to have two individuals, they can both be the same brothers, and you just say one guy can be just tougher than the other. Sometimes it comes from the background of the childhood, but sometimes it's just in some people.
Although, guys, two points here. One, Sergio Martinez is showing a lot of toughness. And two, my impression in the corner, when you watch their faces in the corner, is that Paul is really suffering. Sergio looks much fresher.
Hey, get out, don't punch, that's it.
We'll see how that plays out. Better part of 5 rounds to go.
There's one thing for sure, these are two tremendous fighters right here. And, you know, both guys are showing the heart.
You see why nobody wants to fight him.
Yes, both of them, really.
2 of the most avoided fighters in the sport. You see why.
You know what's the difference in the last 2 rounds is, to me, it's been Paul Williams' defense a lot of time. He's been getting away from punches and slipping that he wasn't getting away from earlier.
It's a tradition that goes back to Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta in boxing, and even longer than that. 2 avoided fighters, 2 fighters who find it difficult to get fights, wind up fighting each other and creating these kind of fights.
Hard right hand by Williams. There's blood coming out of Paul Williams' mouth now. Williams is dripping blood in the middle of the ring. And that has begun in this round. Martinez' trainer asked him to throw lead lefts in this round.
Yeah.
Haven't seen one. There's one to the body.
You got a right hook to the head for it.
And now he got the right hook in because of the lead left to the body.
Williams comes right back right after that.
This is a slip, not a knockdown.
The dominant punch.
Martinez thinks he's found something with this little left hand to the body. And it gets the right hook in again. 3 of them.
But just looking at the way Paul Williams is built, you would think that he's susceptible to body shots.
Big right hook by Martinez. Bobbed Williams' head around on its axis. But Paul seems to have taken the punch okay.
That's it.
What a shot. Again, little left hook leads, or left hand leads to the body by Martinez, followed by the right hook upstairs. Left to the body. That was a good round for Sergio Martinez by my lights.
Work this guy's body. Why will you not work his body? You're going underneath a lot of things he's throwing. Okay? A lot of this stuff that he's throwing, you ducking, but you won't answer back. But you sit it open, but you're not answering back. Paul, listen, you got to work with both hands. You got your jab working, but you won't come back with the hook. You got him.
Breathe now, breathe down. Feel your lungs. Very nice, very nice. You're looking very good. Now, this is our second win now. That's it. Very good. Just like we started at the beginning. Just like the first round.
Here we see the signature punch of Martinez, which has been all night. His mainly only punch he landed, that tremendous right hook, especially when they get in close quarters.
That's been the big weapon in the fight for Martinez. Williams has landed some left hands.
But Williams' most punches he's been the last 2 rounds has been, believe it or not, a jab. He has been doing pretty good with the jab, but he hasn't been able to get his range with the left hand.
And you heard George Peterson keeps asking him to throw body shots and follow his jab with the hook.
Well, at this point, if he's not doing it, forget about it. Just try to work a strategy off of what he's doing, because he's not going to change.
And incidentally, guys, the reason Sergio Martinez enjoyed that success last round, you can credit his toughness for it, because he's still there in the face of Paul Williams' resilient assault. Paul Williams is resilient, of course, and mounted that counteroffensive in the last several rounds, but Martinez answers right back.
Yeah, you may also credit the subtle tactic of that little left to the body that he started using midway through the last round, because it seemed to set up the right hook. There's another one. See? Keeps trying to throw the left to the body and fire the right hook behind it. Now right hand to the body by Martinez. The shorter fighter obviously has the better chance to land body shots.
Martinez leaning now a little bit on his left side, you know, right in the path of a Paul Williams straight left hand, which Williams has been throwing.
they trade body shots. Both guys firing to the body at the same time. Hard right hook by Williams. Martinez missing with his.
This is a tremendous fight, and both guys are getting hit with clean punches here. And then neither one of them, after they get hit, we're going to a defensive mode. They both will come right back with a punch.
Considering the level of skill at which this fight is being contested, it's an incredible fight.
This is the kind of fight your mother hopes you're never in.
Make your dad proud, though, Jim.
That's it, that's it.
Williams trainer George Peterson was utterly dismissive of Martinez. Not sure whether he was trying to build his fighter's confidence or get under Martinez's skin, but he said, you know, we've got no problem here. This will be an easy knockout. Paul will overwhelm him in 1 or 2 rounds. This is a great fight with 9 rounds in the books.
Sergio, listen, you've got to throw that left up top. You're throwing the left to the body, but then remember to throw it up top. Throw it up top.
What do you give in the body? He give you all you want in the body, but you're not using it. Deep breath. Okay? Deep breath.
Let's take a look at the dominance of Sergio Martinez's right hook. And you can see that 89 of his punches, the ones to the top right, or the top left side of Williams' head and on the chin, most of those, almost all of them, frankly, are right hooks. 54 left-hand shots to the right side of Williams' body. And then the rest, you know, a few jabs and left hands here and there. But by and large, left to the body, right upstairs, that has been the Martinez attack. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim. 5 rounds to 4. 86, 85, Paul Williams. You know, Jim, like you said, Sergio Martinez had a heck of an 8th round, landed that big right hand. He may have hurt Paul Williams, but in the 9th round, he started to look like a tired fighter, and Paul Williams started to back him up, walk him down, get him with the left jab, and drop the right and drop the left hand down on him. So I thought Paul Williams pulled that round 9 to pull ahead by 1 round. 5 to 4, Paul Williams.
Hard left hand by Martinez. Harold, would you agree that there have been some very close rounds here, and this might be a tough fight to score?
Absolutely, Jim.
There's another straight left hand by Martinez, and suddenly he changes up again, firing left hand leads into the face of Williams, and seems to have shocked Williams with this new tactic. Good adjustment.
He's doing very well this round here, but he's going to have to do it the rest of the round if you don't knock him out, because Paul is going to be right in his face after every exchange, right back.
Paul Williams is, you don't think of him this way. He's not built that way, but he's a pit bull. He's tenacious.
Hey, go punch.
He took some shots from Sergio Martinez in this round that would have stopped the lesser fighter.
That's it. All right, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Well, it remains to be seen whether the 2 big left hands in the first minute will be enough to win the round for Martinez. So far, Williams hasn't answered with anything as spectacular.
No, so far this round still is Martinez's round. He's landed a lot of clean punches compared to what Paul hasn't landed anything.
Good body shot by Martinez, and he backs away. Another left-hand shot.
That's a new weapon.
Suddenly, Williams is open to the left hand. That hadn't happened all night long.
And he can't afford to take it. He's getting bad enough with the right hooks. Now that Martinez is throwing the left hand, he's got 2 punches he's got to look out for.
He has landed 3 solid lefts in the round, which seem to have him winning the round. Another right jab for Martinez, countering beautifully. Big left hand by Martinez.
That left hand by Martinez was on the chin and shifted Paul Williams' feet about a foot, and Paul Williams keeps coming.
Well, Martinez is not a power puncher.
Right, that's it, that's it, that's it.
In his 44 wins, he only has 24 KOs. He's quite accustomed to going the distance to earn his victories. Although there have been moments when he's been loading up big shots and clearly trying to knock Paul Williams for a loop in this fight. Feels like an even fight.
Okay. Deep breath, water. Deep breath. You're looking good, but let me tell you, let's get past some of that body, Paul. The body's in, man. You know, you want to go out with a head shot. Let's get the body. You hear what I'm saying? Look.
Work out, it's your turn. Work down. Work to the body and then to the left. The left up top. Come on, babe. Let's go. You got it. You got his range. You got your range. Work it. He's dead.
Here we see a beautiful left-hand shot from Martinez right on the chin, something that we didn't see earlier in the fight at all. And here, once again, we see the left hand again. That's turned out to be the key punch right now for Martinez. In fact, the key punch of the entire fight for the last round.
In fact, power shots in round 10 by CompuBox count. Williams 8 of 53. Martinez 16 of 40. We go to the 11th round.
If you're in either corner, knowing that the fight is close, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys fight the last two rounds.
Yep, championship rounds here. We've already told you many times, the two best 154-pound fighters in the world fighting at 160 in a non-title fight. It's been a hellacious battle from the get-go.
And in this era of multiple belts, etc., these are two truly championship caliber fighters.
That's enough.
Crowd is chanting Paul, Paul, Paul. Trying to lift Williams. Williams is chasing and trying to get at Martinez.
That's it. That's enough. That's enough.
They trade shots there.
I'm in here.
How do you score this round?
I have no idea.
Just suppose it was a 15-round fight.
You know, I know Paul Williams has an advantage in terms of the
good left hand by Martinez.
I think I would rather have been Sergio Martinez so far throughout the majority of rounds in this fight. I think he's landing the cleaner, more effective shots.
Yeah, much more damaging punches. Cleaner, effective punches. If you look at that, he's definitely landing that.
He's nearly exhausted, though, as he falls to his knees in front of Williams with a minute to go in the 11th.
You're right, Jim. He looks absolutely exhausted.
I'm here. Don't punch.
He's one of the fittest fighters to be found on the planet. But the constant pressure of dealing with Paul Williams' long body seems to have worn him out. There's another right hook, and another left hand, and another right hook, and another left hand, and another two right hooks, and another left hand. And Sergio Martinez is determined to try to win this fight. Williams is under enormous pressure now.
In the 11th round of a war, these two are throwing punches like that in the middle of the ring.
And look at the blood from Williams' eye. Sergio Martinez is putting up a tremendous battle.
Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward fought downstairs in this building, but they didn't contest their fights on this level of skill.
Big right hand to finish the round for Martinez. It looked like he won the 11th to me.
Sit, Sergio, sit. Sit, baby. Put water on it. Very good, Sergio, very good. The only thing is that when you kneel down, he was knocked out. He was knocked out. You've got to keep working, keep on working. Give it all.
We got it, Doc. We got it. We got this. We got it. We got it. Last round, okay? Deep breath, Paul. Okay, open your mouth. Deep breath.
Don't stay on the inside. Stay close. Work it. And fake him. Work his body and then put his left up top. You understand? All right, let's go. Put the soul in it. Put your soul in it. The fight is yours.
In the 11th round, Williams landed 35 and Martinez landed 32. That's the high number of connected punches for both fighters in the fight. Emmanuel, what should Paul Williams do this round?
Just what he's doing, put pressure. The last round, I really had it even. Maybe that last flashy right hook of Martinez may have won it. But I had the last round of my score even. So this round, if I'm judging, probably will be the round that's going to decide the winner of this fight. Paul Williams got to do just what
Hard left hand by Martinez. All three judges are American. Martinez is from Argentina and has lived most of his life in Spain since he started boxing. So remember that as we get ready for a decision.
You know, some judges look for clean, effective punches. They would go for Martinez. And a lot of judges look for the aggressive fighter who's pushing the fight. So it's going to be a very difficult fight, depending on who the judge and what the judge looks for.
Whatever happens here.
Clean punches have been with Martinez. But for his aggressiveness and effectiveness, I mean, determination, that would go to Williams.
Whatever happens here, the question is to who these guys should
left
fight
hand by
next.
Martinez. He's landing the flashier punches again. Down goes Martinez, and it's going to be ruled a slip. It is not going to be ruled a knockdown. Pretty close call. Right hand by Martinez.
And a nice left uppercut by Williams, who both guys landed great shots at the same time.
Williams must know that Martinez's legs are nearly gone. Another solid left hand inside by Martinez.
What a fight.
Crowd is standing. We'd like to stand too, in honor of two guys who have fought 12 brilliant rounds. What a way to finish the year.
That's it. I'll punch.
30 seconds to go, and neither man is having a rousing round. Both men appear near exhaustion, although Williams, bleeding, appears to have a little more left.
Don't punch.
This fight has been dramatic from the first round when both guys went down, and the 12th and final round is still up in there. The same way they started is the way they're finishing up.
Well, it remains to be seen whether Sergio Martinez gets this decision, but he certainly got respect.
And whatever the decision here, Jim, the question as to who Paul Williams or Sergio Martinez should fight next, I have an answer.
Each other. Absolutely. Brilliantly said, Max. All right. What a show by Martinez and Williams. Both getting their due from the crowd. Let's take a look at the highlights. Round one. First, Martinez goes down on a glancing left hand, bad balance. Martinez was on the canvas. Now, fighting from the deficit. In the closing seconds of the round, he lands a giant right hook and knocks Williams down. Ultimately, Harold Letterman gave that round to Martinez 10-9. In round four, the strong left hand by Williams began his comeback in the fight after it appeared to us Martinez had won the first three rounds. Round five, good exchange, and they traded punches viciously in the middle of the round. Williams seemed to get the best of it, ultimately landing more punches. But Sergio Martinez wouldn't take no for an answer, and in round eight, throwing left-hand body shots, he suddenly revived his right hook and started pounding Williams again with right hooks, as he had done through most of the first three rounds of the fight. And then in round 10, suddenly Martinez unveils straight left hands and lands them, a series of them on the face of Williams. Round 11, a war as the fighters landed 67 power shots in this round. And this exchange ultimately ended with another big shot from Martinez. So who gets the win as three American judges prepare to render the verdict? Harold, how did you finally score it?
Jim, 7 rounds to 5, 115, 113, Paul Williams. I just thought he finished this fight stronger. I think Martinez tied it in 11 and 12, and I just think that Paul Williams outpunched him, but it was very, very close.
Don't you think Martinez landed the cleaner shots and the clearer shots?
He landed some really hard shots. I thought Paul Williams got in some hard shots. I just thought Paul did a little bit more to win it in the championship rounds.
Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. and find out what the official scorers thought.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a majority decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Julie Letterman scores about 114 to 114, even a draw. Overruled by judges Lynn Carter, who scores about 115 to 113, and Pierre Benoist, who scores about 119 to 110, in favor of the winner, Paul the Punisher Williams.
Well, Samson Lukovitz, who you see on screen there, is Martinez's advisor, and he is very angry. 119 to 110. Who's kidding whom? That is a travesty. There's no way 119 to 110 belongs in this fight for either fighter. Ridiculous. 119 to 110. Judge Pierre Benoist of New Jersey is the one who scored at 119 to 110. I say he's blind. It was a very close fight. And the victory goes to Paul Williams by the scores that you see on the screen.
Great job. Randy did a good job.
So Williams gets the win, and Martinez probably has some new admirers, but also collects the second loss of his career. Final CompuBox numbers, Williams with his volume style, throwing landing 45 more, while throwing 340 more punches. Martinez landing at a significantly higher connect percentage, and by my lights at least, he landed the harder shots. Jabs in the fight, and not much difference there, although Williams threw nearly twice as many. Again, Martinez landing at a higher rate. And total power punches, again, the big difference there. Paul throwing nearly 200 more, Martinez landing at the higher rate. Let's go to Max Kellerman now with Paul Williams.
Congratulations, Paul, on, first of all, engaging in a classic fight. What are your thoughts right now?
You know, a good fight, man. You know, bring out the war. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to try to box him. I'm going to try to make it a war, make him fight me. You know, that's what we had to do.
Early on, you scored a knockdown. By the end of the round, he scored a knockdown that seemed to really hurt you. Were you hurt?
No, you know what I'm saying? He stung me like I stung him and stuff, you know. I had to get up and show what a warrior made out of, you know what I'm saying? That's part of my business. First time I've been knocked down and stuff, but, you know, I've been knocked down before in the gym, so I had to get up and show what a true champion made out of, you know what I'm saying? I had to put it on.
No one would question your heart until now, certainly not after a performance like this. But in terms of the matchup itself, he was catching you time and again with big right hooks that seemed to have an effect on you, even though you kept coming. What was the effect of those hooks?
I mean, they let me know that I was in there with a true champion and stuff, but, you know, through all the training and, you know what I'm saying, switching up and kind of threw me off a little bit, and I started getting him a rhythm around the fourth round, but, you know, he's a warrior, man, and I liked that, you know what I'm saying, because I know he's going to get some big shots in, and I'm going to get some big shots in, too.
Did you think you had to pull out the late rounds to win the fight?
Oh, most definitely. My man was telling me, you know what I'm saying, you got to, hey, if you want it, you got to go get it. And so, you know what I'm saying, he's like, you got to make him fight. You got to keep throwing punches and stuff. I couldn't get the body work like I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, but I just did what I had to do, you know, so keep throwing and make him fight, man.
Do you have any thoughts at the moment of wanting to do it again?
Oh, if Mr. Peterson, Al, and Dan, and HBO want to see it again, hey, I'm all in for it.
Congratulations. Amazing fight, Paul. Sergio Martinez, likewise, congratulations to you on engaging in this modern classic of a fight. Your thoughts?
Muchas gracias. La verdad que tuve la suerte de hacer un buen combate, un lindo combate, y de tener enfrente al boxeador más temido, pero sin tenerle ni un poquito de miedo.
Thank you very much. It was a great opportunity to have the most feared fighter in front of me, but I had no fear at all in this bout.
Did he hurt you when he knocked you down in the first round?
Cuando caí recibí un golpe cerca de la nuca y Por eso pisé mal y caí, pero fue un golpe lícito, fue un golpe bien, pero no estuve sentido ni nada, no estuve dañado.
It was a good punch. I was hitting the nape, but I wasn't really hurt, and my feet were off.
Did he hurt you at any later point in the fight?
No, en ningún momento estuve en aprietos. Sí que es un boxeador que trabaja, pero en ningún momento estuve en knockout, en ningún momento.
No, I was never really hurt. I know he's a boxer who works a lot, but at no moment in time was I hurt.
It seemed late in the fight, after you were pushed down, you had a real problem getting up, as though you were completely exhausted. Can you tell us what you were feeling as the late rounds came in this fight?
No estaba exhausto. Estaba intentando dosificar mis fuerzas porque quería acelerar y apretar en el último asalto, solo era eso.
No, I wasn't exhausted. The only thing I wanted to do was dose my strength, if you will, because I wanted to pick up the pace in the latter rounds.
I thought it was, you won the fight close. Many people thought it was close. I hear ringside people talking about Paul won it close, you won it close. What do you think of the 119-110 scorecard? I'm asking Sergio Martinez.
Prefiero que lo digan ustedes qué es lo que fue ese fallo. Yo creo que eso es un fallo, es un error.
I prefer that you call it and you tell the truth, but I think it was an error. It was a true error.
Do you want to fight Paul Williams again?
Por supuesto.
This is
Es
what the
un gran
people want
boxeador.
to.
Of course, he's a great fighter.
Se merece una revancha.
And we should have a rematch.
Congratulations, Sergio, and thank you for that fight. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Max. Emmanuel, will both fighters be better for this experience tonight, or is this the kind of fight that will take something out of both of them?
I think it has taken a lot out of both of those guys. I don't think they have learned that much or got better, but skill-wise, I think it has taken a lot of that. That was a brutal fight. I mean, from the beginning to the end, and as controversial as that one judge's decision was, sometimes you can see that because we have some judges, I say, that look for clean punches, and some judges are just locked in their mind, whoever's the aggressor. And that's the way some guys are, and so they saw it that way. But it's always when you have decisions, you're going to have possibly controversial.
All right. Let's take a look now at upcoming boxing events here on HBO.
1 week from tonight, a big year in the ring ends with a Boxing After Dark triple header. Juan Diaz and Paulie Malignaggi renew acquaintances after this past summer's controversial decision for Diaz in his hometown of Houston, Texas. That night also features a heavyweight showdown. Vitaly Klitschko defends his belt against Kevin Johnson. Filling out a great card, Victor Ortiz squares off against Antonio Diaz. Ortiz looking to bounce back after suffering a disappointing loss last June. It's a huge night of boxing on December 12th. 2010 gets off to a fast start with Boxing After Dark January 23, featuring some of the sport's youngest, brightest talents in action on the same night. Puerto Rican sensation Juan Manuel Lopez takes on Stephen Loeveno. And Cuban 2004 gold medal winner Yuri Orcas Gamboa faces Rogers Matagua. That's January 23 on Boxing After Dark. 1 week later on January 30, it's a welterweight unification matchup. It's been nearly a year since Sugar Shane Mosley's 9th round stoppage of Antonio Margarito.
Mosley has Margarito in trouble on the rope, and there's the knockdown.
Now, the future Hall of Famer takes on undefeated welterweight title holder Andre Berto in the biggest fight of Berto's developing career. Experience versus youth, which will win out on January 30. It's a jam-packed calendar of fights coming up on HBO's World Championship Boxing and Boxing After Dark. Log on to HBO.com for more details.
Well, back live at ringside, and Max Kellerman has made his way down from the ring. You made your point in your interview with Martinez that you felt he deserved the win. I'm with you, which means that the announce team is divided 2-2. Letterman and Stewart thinking Williams won. Max and I both believe Martinez probably deserved this decision. What do you see happening from here?
Well, first, let me just say, I like to avoid calling out judges by name, because maybe it's possible that as you and Emmanuel were discussing it, a judge consistently prefers a certain style, and so in a fight where you consistently get the same kind of round, that judge goes that way. But I'm taking names. Enough. We've seen this year in Paulie Malignaggi and Juan Diaz. We saw it when Ali Funiga was robbed a week ago against Joan Guzman. We saw it again tonight. There is no way Pierre Benoist can tell me that Sergio Martinez only won one round. That's a disgraceful scorecard. That said, because as a boxing fan, you get used to not wanting to let these kind of things ruin an otherwise spectacular night. What a fight. This is what happens when the two best junior middleweights in the world, the two best fighters in a weight class, regardless of the fact that they were fighting a little north of that weight class, get together, especially when they have crowd-pleasing styles that complement each other. I wish that there were more fanfare going into a fight like this, that there were a 24/7 for Sergio Martinez and Paul Williams, because they deserve it, boxing fans deserve it, and Jim, casual sports fans who would otherwise be boxing fans, I know would love to see this kind of stuff.
And like it so often is the case when we see a truly great fight like this, uncontaminated by title belts. All right, it's been great to be with you tonight from Atlantic City. Join us 1 week from tonight for HBO's final boxing show of 2009. It's a triple header beginning with Victor Ortiz's return to the ring against Antonio Diaz. Also, the rematch between Juan Diaz and Paulie Malignaggi. Then from Switzerland, it's same-day coverage of Vitaly Klitschko's heavyweight title defense against American finesse fighter Kevin Johnson. And if you missed any part of tonight's show, you can catch it again at the dates and times listed below. Next on HBO, it's Liam Neeson starring in Taken. And now for our entire HBO crew, this is Jim Lampley saying so long from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.